How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
And how are you enjoying Rise so far?
Yeah, it's been really busy, lots of chatting.
Lots of chatting.
Yeah.
Are you losing your voice yet?
Yeah, not yet, but
Not
I probably
yet.
will by the end of the day.
Nice. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is getting those conversations happening and building those new relationships.
Yeah, and this is a very different type of summit than we've been to previously. You know, it's very focused, people know what they want, they come in, it's been great.
Yeah, and then you get those few investors floating around.
Yeah, I mean,
well.
especially because we're an education company, so it's very different to a lot of those conferences where mums and pups come and ask for Johnny's one license. You know, this is very driven towards how do we scale and help to support you to grow.
Yeah, and I can totally agree because I've been to a few education conferences within Australia and New Zealand, and it's very different sort of flow and dynamics with what people tend to go and do, right?
And I think this has got some of the most brilliant minds in tech.
For sure, right? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what Idea Digital Education is.
So we're a content-focused company. So we're not just a platform. In fact, aggregating is completely anomalous to what we do.
Yep.
You know, we've created 34,000 pages of content, 27,000 animations, videos, audio files, podcasts, documentaries, 10,000 interactive activities. So we actually provide, from day one, you'll have a full learning stream to be able to work through from kindergarten to grade 12.
Great. And so, is this mobile or is it school computer based? Like how's it work?
We've got. You can use it on your mobile. You can use it on your tablet, on your laptop. We've got students who go in for 2 hours a day and work in their laboratories at school during school time. You can use it after school, before school to supplement your education. It's really flexible.
Great. And whereabouts are you currently providing this platform, or not platform? Yeah,
So platform and content,
platform
a
and
solution,
content.
let's
Okay.
call it. Yeah.
Whereabouts in the world are you providing the solution?
So we've started in South Africa and East Africa, and even though I'm Australian, we've been doing that to try to, that was the history of the startup of the company, and we're particularly focused on giving good government schools the top quality resources.
Yeah.
And now we're looking, and we're here at Rise to be able to expand into Asia.
Great. And what were you doing before you started the company?
I was living in East Africa for 10 years before this, doing bricks and mortar schools. So in some of the most random places in northern Tanzania, northern Uganda, we're building schools and taking on students who couldn't afford to go to school.
Oh wow, amazing. And so how has your journey been since doing that? Like what inspired you to create this company?
So I always say to people, normally you start your company, get wealthy, and then you go into philanthropy. I sort of started in philanthropy is what drove us into the company, and a big part of that is because in this sort of scalable technology, innovation is really difficult in the not-for-profit space. So we're looking at how do we actually provide this to as many people as possible and have an incentive to every day create more and more better content.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what was your inspiration behind continuing in this education space? Like, is there what is that deep down or role model that you look up to?
I had an amazing education, so and I was given everything. Growing up in Australia, I ended up, university, finished postgrad, and education is what gave me the keys to whatever I want to do in my life. There's a lot of children all across the emerging world who don't have those same opportunities, and so that's what drives us on a daily basis, is how do we find those opportunities and give top quality education to kids who really deserve it and who are very hungry for it, but can't access it at the moment.
Yeah, well, there's lots of different countries that are struggling at the moment. Is that one of your main priorities, is to focus on those struggling countries that don't have that sort of quality education?
Yeah, I mean, we're loath to call ourselves a social enterprise because I think it's a really ambiguous term, but essentially a big part of our performance and outcomes as a company is that we need to drive educational outcomes. And, we can make the most difference in a whole lot of conflict-affected and poverty-affected countries.
Yeah, and what are some of the roadblocks have you been facing through the company journey in terms of, setting up or hitting that barrier where you can't get that platform into that school in that country?
I think the biggest obstacle was changing people's mindsets that the emerging or developing world has taken on high-level tech.
Yeah.
And so once we were able to get some partners involved who believed that good quality digital education was a reality, and in fact a greater reality probably in the emerging markets than in most of the developed economies around the world, it's just taken off from there.
Okay, awesome. And so, coming to Hong Kong, what was your insight into the Hong Kong ecosystem for you, and have you been here before?
So I've been to Hong Kong a lot, given that it's hop, skip, and a jump for us from Australia. But the big thing for us in terms of Rise was just the level of tech that's here. Particularly as we move into an artificial intelligence space, the number of companies that are here today who are kind of moving towards how artificial intelligence can impact our world in a really sustainable and socially aware way was fantastic.
So does that mean you're looking at new tech? Is that why you're here, or is it more of an investment focus?
It's a bit of both. So we very fortunately, and we've just announced actually to the press, but our AI partner is Professor Benjamin Rossman, who just won the Google Award for Machine Learning and Big Data. And so we're now here raising capital specifically so that we can create an AI framework. So essentially, instead of us finding efficiencies in our e-commerce or fintech part of our product, we're looking at how do we take this repository of content and sequence it based on every person's learner journey will be completely different.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So you've been to Hong Kong a few times then. Tell us a little bit about why this ecosystem is so amazing for you.
Look, I also think it's there's a infrastructure development here, funding is here, and it's an amazing soft landing in Southeast Asia and China.
Yeah. So it's more of that global hub that sort of spreads you across more areas in Asia.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Great. And is there anything exciting that you could share with someone who hasn't been to Hong Kong that might be intriguing or inspiring?
Look, I think the whole island is intriguing and inspiring. Just walking through the streets last night, late at night after the conference had finished, was just there's a ongoing 24-hour buzz and chaos here, and that there's nothing like it.
Yeah. Well, Chris and I went to the computer center, the Mongkok, and that was it was almost like daytime.
Yeah.
It was like the street lights and a lot of buzz and a lot of energy.
And it's such a unique place. So we're talking, colonial history, British history, then you've got the very strong Chinese history. So, it's kind of a conflagration of so many different cultures and, markets and economies. It's fantastic.
Yeah, great. And so to finish off the conversation, what would be your big key advice to someone who's looking to enter the Hong Kong ecosystem as a startup or an entrepreneur? And how would they go about getting themselves connected?
Oh, it's an interesting question. I think it's about if you haven't worked in that space before and you haven't worked for someone, and even kind of casually or informally creating a mentor out of that person, then you've got a problem.
Yeah.
You have to test your ideas. It doesn't go from 0 to 100 ever for anybody.
Yeah.
And so it would be about testing your ideas with supportive kind of mentorship, partnership around you, and then I think you'll be fine.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
And make sure you guys keep watching for more, coming to you live at facebook.com/Beach City Live. And be sure to thank our partners, Start Me Up Hong Kong, Invest HK, and be back for more lives coming to you later today.
Perfect.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Cheers.
Pleasure. Catch you guys.